Good morning from Thorpe Park Resort as we are walking down to just kind of have a little look around, and this will be our final update for the closed season before the park opens in less than a month's time. We've learned quite a couple of new things actually.
There's a skull of a bird there.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So we've learned a couple of new things since we last came down to Thorpe Park about what they're doing for 2020, things that are returning, and potential summer plans as well. Whilst we're not going to go through the summer events here, we will talk about some of the key things which they have pinned, including the new attraction Black Mirror for 2020. We'll see what we can see. We're expecting certainly Rise to be back together. We're expecting Inferno to be sort of testing and ready to go. We're expecting to see the Rocky Express back together, all the T-Cuts back together, so we're expecting to see quite a lot of progress. Now we're actually come from the other direction this time because it's been raining really hard, and we didn't fancy sliding down the hill.
No.
Hasn't been much better route, this one, to be honest with you.
At least there's no sliding down the hill.
But there's no sliding down the hill yet. So that's a bonus. So we're going to start down the Rumba Rapids ends. Be interesting to see if the boats are still here, because as we said, there's less than a month to opening. You'd like to think that is now testing that some of the boats are gone. So we're going to start down Rumba Rapids, and yeah, let's see what Thorpe Park got to offer for 2020. So number 13 was the last boat when we came. That was the number we had to remember. What was the first number, Cody?
13.
No, the first number.
What? That was the last number.
I don't know.
Oh dear. Oh dear, bless him. Do you remember the first number?
4.
He's going with number 4. It actually looks like, well, I don't know, actually, we'll go a little bit further along. Some of these look like they've been... Nah, actually, well, I don't know, that looks fairly freshly taken out. I could be wrong. It's hard to tell, they might not even put half these back on in the first place. But I'm a bit surprised there aren't some more back on already. That one's got a tree growing in it. As we said before, we would definitely cover these if we own the theme park, just to make sure they don't get completely trashed. But it does look like they're all still here. Number 3.
It was 8.
No, that's not the first one, Carl.
8, the first one. I wouldn't mind. It does look like that some of the... I'm sure more of them were together beforehand. I'm sure there wasn't quite so many rubber bases off as what there was. Doesn't look quite as many boats here potentially, but we have still got some more to come.
It's number 4, like Cody said.
It is number 4. Let's see. When his little brain ticks over, bless him, he does remember.
Well, unless there's more, but they might have moved them.
He does remember. So yeah, it does look like they've detached some of these actually, because these weren't inflated, were they?
No.
They weren't inflated, so there's quite a lot down there now without without kind of the rubber bits on the bottom, and the tops, of course, sitting on the side there. And I think these ones are well past their sell-by date. So I would probably say we have had some activity down here. I was expecting all the boats to be back on the track. To be honest, I'm not sure when Friends and Family Day is. It must be within the next 2 weeks. And I'd be expecting Rumba Rapids to be open for that. I could be wrong, but I'm expecting Rumba Rapids to be open for that. And of course, we look into the park now. God, if we don't fall over. A nice big polystyrene block. That's new, people. We look over the Storm and a teacup. I still can't see the teacups, And indeed, we'll try and get a close-up as well, get some pictures on the screen of Nemesis Inferno. I got the jet wash out, look. No rain required, we've got the jet wash ready. Hopefully for the plants, they do have some lovely plant displays here. I think after all this being in scaffolding, that this was to do with, someone did say last time the chute is for the metal, so it's for the work they're doing in the workshop area. And you can kind of see, we'll get a close-up, you can kind of see the workshop area up the top. And we will get a close-up of it. So no repainting gone on this closed season. It still baffles me why they repainted half the steps and not the rest of the building, but it is still here. Work is still ongoing. They've still got the waste pipes going in. And I'd imagine there's still quite a lot happening in there. It's all very quiet this morning though, chat. Very quiet this morning. People have told us that during the week you can see kind of the rides are testing during the week. I know Swarm's been round, and I think Colossus has been spotted as well. You know, we can't come during the week, sadly. We are working, but as you can see, Inferno there, fully back together. Does still look like there's a ladder though at the final brake run, the engineering point. So whether or not they're just doing testing bits there, or whether or not the ride hasn't actually started testing yet for this year, not 100% sure. We can't see the train, can't directly see the train, so it's very difficult to tell. But yeah, certainly the support and everything there. As I said, we're going to get some close-ups, so we'll put pictures in as we've gone. Certainly looks like you know, it's ready to roll for the new 2020 season. So we get a real close look of Blair Witch look and how it was left, because all this has come down presumably in the storms. You know, you can see sort of the car crash carnage they left in here, and you can kind of see the routes as well, which you take through. And again, you know, if you don't do it during the day, you know, even all the work look to put CCTV and things in there, if you don't do it during the day, you just never see these things. But you can kind of see the man-made logs and things which they've put in. You can see the route path and what have you. You know, even the little campfires and things. Yeah, it's good to see actually. Does this mean though we can see into the park a bit better? Well, a little bit. Tiny little bit. We might be able to see Jungle Escape here. Might, if we're lucky. But there's a lot of trees in the way. And then we go into the building, so we can't quite see it yet. So yeah, it's actually quite nice to see some of this bit, which we haven't seen from this side before, because this has come down. You know, weather has been appalling, to be fair. I imagine they'll come and pop this back up, certainly before Fright Nights, but I highly doubt they'll do it this time round. So when we were here last time, there was a big question mark over Jungle Escape, and we did say, you know, we got a few comments, but we did say that the Thorpe Park site did list it for 2020 that it was coming back. So we didn't confirm it was closing. We didn't. We said it might be. And of course, we also said that the Thorpe Park's website is usually updated before the Thorpe Park website, because obviously they're trying to sell getaways. And as it stands, Jungle Escape is coming back for 2020 as advertised. So we will get Jungle Escape back in that area. I wouldn't call it a rip-roaring success, but obviously it did enough that they can warrant bringing it back for 2020. Cost-wise, it's come down massively. I'm sure it's only $7.50 or something like that, so it's quite cheap. We've still not done it. We've still not done it. We've been meaning to do it. We've heard mixed reviews on it. So, you know, hopefully this year it is something we get in on and we actually experience it as well. So we'll walk down now and we'll have a look, see if we can see into any other areas of the park and just see whether or not Rocky Express, so we're trying to dodge mud. If you have a look at this. It's really bad down here today. So Kurt is getting some close-ups now, but it doesn't actually look like Rocky Express is back together yet. The centrepiece is just over on the side there. We're not going to walk down to Loggers Leap. We know it's still there, and we know nothing's happening with it. Yeah, we can't go into that. We're not going into that again. So 2020 at Thorpe Park. What do we have? Well, we have Black Mirror, Cody. Do you know what Black Mirror is?
No.
Any ideas?
No.
Want to have a guess?
What?
Want to have a guess?
A mirror man.
Yeah, so Black Mirror Labyrinth is coming for 2020. We put a video up on our channel trying to explain what we knew about it, and we'll quickly briefly go over it now. So Black Mirror is a TV show created by Charlie Brooker back in 2011, late 2011. Started life on Channel 4 over in the UK, has now moved to Netflix. It's had 5 seasons with a 6th season coming, and it's about using technology to kind of manipulate your life. So Thorpe Park are obviously advertising this attraction, shall we say, as being, you know, technologically advanced with loads of special effects and some really nice touches. Now, it's going to be located in the Living Nightmare, the Walking Dead Living Nightmare, and of course we did say in our very first update that the Living Nightmare would be going, and yeah, we had quite a lot of messages. about it. How do we know? How do we know? How do we know? Well, it's gone. It's gone. The park have confirmed it's gone. They've confirmed it on social media now. They hadn't back then, but they have confirmed it now. It has gone. So the Dark Mirror will be going in there. Now then, you know, it's mixed reviews on this. Obviously, people wanted something really, really big for this year. It was never going to happen. You know, this mass campaign about Project 2020 that some other people were coming out with, I have no idea where it come from. You know, the plan and development behind big roller coasters and things, we were never getting anything for 2020. And given the state of this area, we're not getting anything for 2021 either. Any redevelopment that comes from here will undoubtedly come in 2022, if it comes in 2022. So there are two ways of looking at Black Mirror. One of it is it's using a building that is predominantly shut throughout the year, because it's only really open for Fright Nights, obviously Walking Dead. I know there has been occasions where it's been open. So it's predominantly looking at buildings that are shut, and we're putting an all year round attraction in it, which is great news. It is great news on that. It is going to be something very, very different. Now, I'd never heard never heard of it. Never heard of Black Mirror. Briefly flicked through an episode, don't really get it, probably need to put a bit more effort into it. But it seems to be a 50-50 receive. I mean, there are people obviously that want the big roller coasters and the new thrill rides. Me being one of them, I do want them, and there are other people that are actually quite happy with them doing this at the moment. Park are obviously at a point where they can do this without affecting business. Otherwise, we would see big roller coasters and things. There's no doubt about it. Merlin must be at a point where Thorpe Park's performing as expected. So I walk around the puddle. So yeah, Black Mirror, what do you think? Black Mirror is going to be going where the Walking Dead Living Nightmare was. The entrance will be the same area, past the Broken Slammer, and then down into there. But what are you expecting from this maze? If you watch the TV show in particular, we really want to hear in the comments what you're expecting from this maze, because we're not really sure what we're expecting. You know, the artwork looks really, really good. There's not very much kind of, you know, there's not a lot to go on what it's going to be and what they're going to include. And I think using a lesser known IP might lower the expectation for some people. Certainly for me, who doesn't know anything about Black Mirror, I can't have a good expectation. You know, Walking Dead, I had mass expectations for that, and you know, Living Nightmare really did live up to them as well. So yeah, Black Mirror replacing Walking Dead Living Nightmare for 2020. That will be open, from what we hear, on the 27th of March, so not at the beginning of the season, but shortly afterwards. Obviously dates could be subject to change, but that's what we've heard. So that's it from our Thorpe Park Resort updates for this close season. I really hope you've enjoyed them. Some of them have not been that adventurous, to be honest, but we have learnt a few things. A few bits that have obviously happened. You know, we follow the progress of Nemesis Inferno to show that, you know, every coaster goes through it. It's not just your smaller ones that people say, you know, the B&Ms have these done as well, have the work done, the extensive work. That now looks complete. What have we learnt from this trip? Well, we know Jungle Escape's opening, so there's no work going on around there. We can only see the roof of the building, but it doesn't look like anything's happening. It looks like it's just going to be as it was. In terms of Rumba Rapids, as we're walking past it, these have definitely been pumped up. These have definitely been changed. I can't really tell if any boats have gone or not. I think one or two boats may have been moved onto the course now. We can't see any on the course or at the bottom of the lift, but it definitely seems like there's less here. Now, as I said, we are only kind of less than 2 weeks now before visitors are coming into the park for either friends or family or a services day or anything like that. So I'm a little bit surprised there's not more. A little bit surprised there's not more going on here. As we said though, the coasters look ready to roll. There's still no line actually going down from Stealth. Didn't realise they actually took it down, to be honest. I thought it stayed up all year round, but there's no line going down from Stealth yet. But as we said, we have been told that coasters have been testing during the week. Certainly the Swarm has been seen going round. From there, we've walked down the bottom. Obviously nothing's happening. Nothing at all is happening down at Loggers Leap. And again, a bit surprised that the Rocky Express isn't put back together. You know, when you think that Legoland's had their open for the Christmas event, and now that's being stripped back and kind of changed. You know, it's effectively the same ride. You know, these smaller rides, I'm sure it would just be easier to just get them done in November, get them back together, cover them up nicely, and get it for the, you know, get it ready for the new season. I know it's hard saying that because they like to take them away and things, but you know, as we said with maintenance schedules when we've talked about opening all year round, you know, big major theme parks get these rides done in 5 to 7 days, flat rides, coasters 2 to 3 weeks. So I kind of get with the coasters that they're going to take most of the times. You know, a lot of them have, you know, things like Stealth have the extra train as well. So does The Walking Dead Living Nightmare. So that can be done progressively throughout the year, which is the same as what Chessington do on Vampire to open it for the Christmas event. Labyrinth, Black Mirror, coming for 2020. We're quite looking forward to it. It doesn't look like it'll be open for opening day, but guessing that it's nearly done. I think it would be really nice, certainly in the coming weeks, to see some concept art or some actual shots from inside, rather than just kind of the one thing we had. It has left us speculating, but I think if they want to build a bit of, you know, want for it, we're going to have to see a bit of inside and maybe a bit of storyline as well, which at the moment we don't have. It's not long now. It's not long now, and we'll be inside the park and we see what other wonderful changes that they've made for the coming season. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.